What's going on, guys? My name is Nadeem, and today we're going to talk about My Hero Academia, the strongest hero, and more specifically about stats and how they work and how they interact with one another. I won't be talking about which stat is the best because I just don't know that yet. And more importantly, if I do say something wrong, feel free to let me know because this is just to the best of my understanding. And yeah. So maybe if you went to your gear and you saw some stat like Tenacity or crit resistance rate, you might not know exactly what that does. So we're going to talk about this in this video. So very simply, you can always click on the hero tab, go to any character you have, and in the bottom right you have details, and every stat in the game is here. So you can click on any stat you want and the game will explain to you what it does. So the general gist of things is that it's attack versus defense, crit versus crit resistance rate, crit damage versus tenacity, damage increase versus damage decrease, and penetration ignores your defense. So let's talk about some very simple ones first, like penetration. Penetration is a chance to ignore defense. So if someone has a lot of defense, every time you penetrate them, well, you're just gonna ignore that defense as if they had zero defense. It does not counteract damage decrease. So if someone has a lot of damage decrease, well, your penetration stat doesn't matter at all. Obviously, if you have an 8% chance to crit, but they have 4% chance crit resistance, well, your crit chance suddenly is reduced to 4%. If your crit damage is 163% and their tenacity is like 3%, well, suddenly your crit damage is reduced even more. Right, so 163% crit damage, I think that means it's a 1.63 times damage. So almost 2 times. If this is 200%, I think it means 2 times. It could also potentially mean that the 100% crit damage is times 2. So this would be times 2.63, but I just don't think that's how it works. And attack, obviously, versus defense, and damage increase versus damage decrease. Alright, so let's talk about attack and defense and damage increase and damage decrease, right? So let's assume a character has a lot of damage decrease, let's say 100%. Well, having a lot of attack will be meaningless at that point. So you want damage increase to counteract that damage decrease. Otherwise, you'll be dealing no damage whatsoever. So if someone decreases your damage by 50% and you don't have any damage increase, just attack, well, you're still gonna deal very little damage. Same thing applies for defense. If they have a lot of defense and you have low attack but a lot of damage increase, well, you're still going to do very little damage because the damage increase is going to apply after the fact. So you need a lot of attack to counteract high defense characters, and you need a lot of damage increase to counteract a lot of damage decrease. And that's how it works. So you really need to see what the opponent has to see which stat would be better fit for that matchup. So if they have high defense and you have low attack but high damage increase, you'll deal little damage. If they have high damage decrease and you have high attack but little damage increase, it's still going to be way less damage than if you had a lot of damage increase. You want to work on this stat if you're worried about this, and you really want to worry on attack if they have a lot of defense. Because if they have 100%, like if they have way more defense than your attack, you're going to deal such little damage that that damage increase literally increases it by almost nothing. Power is a stat that just increases your attack by a decent amount actually. So that's what makes defense so hard to kind of like work in this game. I feel like in the long run is that attack just has a buff here and another buff here. So it's gonna outperform most characters' defense unless they bring a super insane defense character. And the fact that there's penetration, I don't think there's any chance of countering this. Now this is a very low chance to penetrate, but there's no way to like remove penetration, which I guess is cool. So I don't think defense is going to be a massive stat, but maybe damage decrease can come in like crazy later on when some characters will have 100% damage decrease and stuff like that. So that's the basics of this stat workout. Hopefully I explained it well. If you don't understand, do let me know, and if I did say something wrong, also do let me know. And with that being said, guys, hope you enjoyed. Peace.